For this video, I wanted to talk about something that's kind of special, not really, sort of, not sure, but I just wanted to kind of give my general thoughts on it, and I'm going to steal something from Real to Real, and I'm going to make this a bit of an open question. Every time I do that, I got to kind of, shout the guy out. By the way, go shout out, go subscribe to that guy. I know that a lot of my fan base is Dokkan because that's kind of how I predicated my channel, even though I don't like to consider myself a Dokkan YouTuber. But if you guys are interested in Dragon Ball discussions, that guy is amazing. So subscribe to him. It should be in the description if I remember to do so. Hopefully I do. Otherwise I sound like a dick. But for today's video, 30 seconds in, we're going to talk about what I think is the best part of Dragon Ball Super. So honestly, when you think of Dragon Ball, you think of fighting and flying and transformations and things of that nature. All of this world earth-shattering beam struggles and shit like that. That's what you think about it, and a lot of that comes from the Dragon Ball Z anime, or the second rendition of Dragon Ball after everything that took place while he was a child. So what I want to say is that in Dragon Ball Super, exclusively Dragon Ball Super, I think that my favorite part of the show, and I want to kind of just implore you guys to leave a comment down below as to what you think is the best part of the show at this point while I'm talking here. I think that the best part of the show is honestly the character moments. When you think about Dragon Ball Super, we kind of hark on it a lot, and we talk a lot of nonsense about the show and criticize it, and rightfully so, right? It's not fantastic. It's not good by any means yet. It has some good key points. The arc that it currently has, the Future Trunks one, is shaping up to be pretty interesting, but it's not a good show yet because you can't look at it in hindsight and consider it that way. So, at least not in my opinion. So, anyways, I think that the show, you can't really look at it the same way that you would Dragon Ball Z because it doesn't have a lot of the same fights and feats and things like that. The animation, for one, is entirely different. Not to beat a dead horse, but it just doesn't look the same. It doesn't give you the same feeling when watching fights in Dragon Ball Super generally most of the time. The Beerus versus Goku fight I thought was fantastic. I thought that the Trunks versus Black was fantastic. I think that a lot of the other stuff is kind of subpar. I think that Goku versus Hit was decent. It was pretty well done. I like the fact that there was the Kaioken there. I like the theme song coming on. Like, I thought that was really cool how they did that too. It was a pretty well done and animated fight, but at the same time, a lot of this stuff kind of comes down to like choreography and stuff like that they just have not been able to execute properly in this series so far, at least in my opinion. Once again, this whole video is just my opinion, of course. It's not fact or anything like that. You're free to disagree or whatever the case is. So I'm not editing that out, by the way. So back to like what I was saying, I think that the character moments and stuff like that are the best parts of the show. I live for moments where we see characters like Future Trunks interacting with Gohan. I thought that was a really interesting episode. That whole episode was just really well made. It had a hidden message in it that they're trying to tell you that, hey, Trunks and Gohan are guys that are pursuing happiness over fighting and things of that nature, but I think that the interaction was priceless. I mean, seeing Trunks meet Pan was really cool, and things like that, and it's kind of annoying that we haven't seen Future Trunks meet Goten yet because he's kind of just seems to be removed from this arc for whatever reason. They could have just had him in one episode and then never showed him again if that's what you were going to do, but nonetheless, it's really awesome seeing these interactions. I mean, seeing Trunks with 18, it was pure gold. She was like, I heard that you kill the future me and things like that. That was pure gold. It really was. And seeing the way that some of these characters have interacted on a developmental level as well, like as far as Vegeta goes, I think that Vegeta, once again, this guy has had the biggest transition as far as progression. I've said so many times, but a lot of it takes place in Dragon Ball Super, in my opinion, which is why when I talk about this show, I can only speak positively about Vegeta exclusively. I think that Vegeta had an amazing character arc back in Dragon Ball Z as well, starting off as the Saiyan Prince, noble Saiyan Prince, and he just wants to kill Goku, and then, the whole stuff goes down on Earth, and now he really wants to kill Goku, and then somewhere along the lines, things started to blur for him, and he started to be like, okay, well, does this really matter to me? Does this really matter if I get revenge on this guy? Okay, no, he just kind of became Goku's rival. And now, at the end of Z, where they got the Boo thing, and he was like, I acknowledge you as the best Kakarot. I'm done fighting, which is total BS because in Super he's back fighting. But nowadays, he just kind of, they've developed this some sort of relationship. They're not rivals anymore, really. I mean, not to say that they don't want to best one another, not anything like that, but they're not or at least from Vegeta's perspective, because Goku never really thought that way, they're not out to get each other like the way that they once were. That was always Vegeta's thing, and he's kind of let that go, and he's become a lot more lighthearted, and I really do enjoy it. And you see it in moments like him and Kaba. Him and Kaba was like, whoa, this guy was like, surpassed me. I was like, Jesus, Vegeta, who are you? You know, like, where did this come from? Where did this happen? And it even, like, Dragon Ball Super laid the seeds for this in the first few episodes where he is taking his family out to, like, what is that, like a luau or whatever the hell it was? Like, they went to the park, I believe he said, like, you know, kind of harking back to Trunks and him in the chamber when they were training, the gravity chamber. And he was like, if you hit me, I'll take you out. So Vegeta was a man of his word, you know, and everything cleared up. He took him out and, you know, they had fun and all that stuff. And Vegeta with the Battle of God stuff, this guy's on the stage dancing. I believe that only happened in the movie. I think something else happened in the series. But anyways, you know what I mean. And then basically from there, he just kind of humbles himself to a degree to where he's wearing an apron. He's cracking eggs. He's just like totally trying to impress Whis into taking him to training. And I'm like, dog, like, what is this? This is entirely different character development for this character. And, you know, kind of just to the point where they are now, he's just like, oh, Kaba, surpass me. Oh, Trunks, if you're my son, you need to surpass me. And I'm like, this guy is like just not the same whatsoever. And I think that he has had the most development hands down in this series. You guys are open to interpretation as far as this goes as well. I'd like to know who you guys think has had the most development and why. Because I think that there are other characters that have had nice little character arcs and developments. And also good interactions, like that time where Goku asked Krillin to punch him, and 18 is there just tending to his wounds, and she's just looking at him smiling, and I was like, this is boy Krillin, man, over here gaming him. You know, it's like you know, it's fun to see how these characters change and evolve. And that's why I get mad when people say Dragon Ball Z is about fighting. It's not only about fighting. It's just not. I understand that it's a cartoon or anime, whatever you want to call it, and it is whatever the creator wants it to be, but that means that the creator has a vision, even if he forgets things. He's not always the best writer at times. You know, he has a vision of how these characters are going to go, and I do like it. I don't like the fact that the show is only Goku and Vegeta's show at this point with Dragon Ball Super. Where they're basically the only ones that can do it, you know, to kind of take a line from the Wrath of the Dragon movie, where he's like, oh, if I can't do it, who will? You know, like, it's only them, and it's really only Goku, because Vegeta kind of gets shafted often. But, you know, I don't like that, but I do think that where Dragon Ball Super makes up for a lot of its miscues is in the interactions that they have, and I just hope that they continue to do what they've been doing so far. And there's so much more potential, which is the worst part about this. There's more potential for interactions between characters. Like I said, Goten and Future Trunks. Future Trunks is just gold. He really is, because he's a character that hasn't been present throughout all these changes. So he's gold. You can interact him with anybody and it'd be awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like, what about Future Trunks and Tarble? You know, Tarble is not really canon in this universe, at least anymore, because he was mentioned in Battle of Gods, but not in Super. So, like, I don't know if they'd be willing to do that. Not that they really particularly care about canon or ever really have, for that mean. But, you know, him and Tarble would be awesome. I believe Dokkan did something like that anyway, which is awesome. You know, and Future Trunks and just about insert X character here, just about anybody else. So I think that's pretty much it. I think I've kind of gone long enough. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video nonetheless. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. I would greatly appreciate it. But once again, this has been D Free, and I'm out, man. Peace.